Everyone. I'm super excited today. We'll be talking to Anthony Parent, who is from IRSMedic, and he has been in this space for a long time, handling controversy and also tax, helping people with complex situations prepare tax returns. Anthony was an inspiration to me when I first started my practice. He was a pioneer on YouTube talking about international reporting obligations, and really, in listening to Anthony, he really challenged me to really ask tough questions about what the tax law says and to really not assume it's as broad as the IRS would make you think it is, and really helped me become a critical legal advisor on these matters. So I'm super excited to have Anthony here. And we are really excited, Anthony, to talk to you about one of the hot topics you're bringing up. And it's about the fact that there is no IRS commissioner. We had 7 IRS commissioners last year. Only one of them was approved by Congress, and he left pretty fast, Billy
Yeah.
Long. And a couple other the people, they're acting commissioners. They're really just deep state operatives looking for some reason to embarrass the administration. Secretary Bassett was in there, and now we have, of all crazy things, we don't have a commissioner. We have a
No.
brand new position as CEO. What's going
Amazing.
on?
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for that introduction. And that you couldn't make me more happier. That one of the things is the critical thinking. I think is what misses, in this. It's like people assume this thing is this IRS who wants to destroy you is going to tell you the truth, right? Its purpose is to destroy you, but they're on our side. So you have to think about what they're going to say in the divorce between what they claim and what's reality, right? And that's kind of how I got onto this topic. I had a tax court case, and this is how it was going to go. And this was my case. I was just going to argue Loper Bright because it was a tax court case, or no, sorry, SEC versus Jarsky. Because, hey, look, this is a tax court deciding the reviewing the work of other IRS employees. It's not an Article 3 court. That's a problem. That's what we've seen. Now, the other issue with this is that what they did in this decision is that a tax court overruled a bankruptcy court's discharge order. A bankruptcy court discharged a tax debt. Okay, the IRS goes and resurrects this thing, issues a final notice of intent to levy on this thing, and the taxpayer filed it pro se. And then he reached out to me over August to say, "Hey, man, I need someone to take this. I can't find anyone to help me. I need someone a little crazy. You really help me out?" I said, "Absolutely. Good guy." I said, "Absolutely." I helped him out. And I contacted the IRS counsel, and I said, "Hey, look, can we do this on a summary judgment?" He said, "Sure," because I think we had the legal argument. And so I presented the case. I think I argued it very, very well. That I said, "Hey, look, tax court, you're trying to step in to decide whether a Title 11 case, you're Title 26. What are you doing here? You got to stay in your lane." Tax court sort of shows the problem with tax court. You guys are just IRS employees reviewing the work of other IRS employees. And imagine that. They found no problem with the work of the IRS employees. So I was pretty sure I was going to lose on this. So I was going to file an appeal arguing SEC versus Jarsky to say, "Hey, look, you got a problem here. You can't do this." Now, on my way to do that, I'm developing my own AI. I think a lot of people are too, just with my agents. And it's called the IRSMedic reality check, because I'm noticing that Tax GPT is pooping out so wrong answers so amazingly, so easily, so convincing. And my own staff is sending me these things. "Anthony, I think we have a problem." I'm like, "No, we don't. Look at, I point out, no. So I'm like, you know what? I got to create an AI that replicates how I think about cases. And so in doing that, my own AI comes back to say, "Oh, Anthony, yeah, you got something over here. What's that?" "Well, the lack of that IRS commissioner." I'm like, "Wait a second. I remember reading that story." And I remember, right? Do you remember? Do you remember reading like, "Oh yeah, there's no IRS commissioner," right?
Yeah. Basically, there was no IRS commissioner, so it defaulted back to Bassett. And Bassett said he was the acting commissioner, but that's only acting commissioner is only for like 120 days, and then
220, yeah.
220 days. I think that
Right.
passed, and so he appointed a CEO,
Yeah.
who is the commissioner. Okay, that's a government appointed, Senate approved position, commissioner of the Social Security Administration. He
Right.
wasn't approved. He's got two titles.
Yeah.
And so, but I'm not sure that Bessent really is the commissioner. I think he has authority over the IRS, but I don't think you'd
Right.
call him the commissioner.
Right, and this is the distinction is that a lot this is where I would say if you're on X, you got to follow this conversation because a whole bunch of people have been playing devil's advocate, and I mean that really, really devil's advocate as the clock strikes 12 here. A little ominous. They're playing devil's advocate and really pushing back because I haven't heard back from the government yet. So I think I know what the government's responses are going to be, and they're going to say it doesn't matter. Okay. Now this is what it is. The secretary can oversee a lot of functions of the IRS. However, there are specifically mandated duties. There's no way around it. And one of those, and one big one, is tax court. Very clearly, from the statutes to the tax court rules say the only respondent there can be an actual commissioner of revenue. And there currently isn't one whatsoever. And now this is like, I read the press release on March 12th. Oh, there is no IRS commissioner, da, 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 da. And I just went on my day like, oh God, this crazy. And I wasn't thinking about it. I wasn't thinking about and I think that's the thing. Most people in the tax industry, they're aware of the story. But hey, look, the IRS says everything's fine. That's what you say. Oh, the IRS says they're operating normal. Don't worry about it. And then you see the typical, like Ron Wyden came out, gave a big press release. Oh, we got a huge problem. Then he went quiet. Well, shouldn't you stay on that story? That's a big one, Ron Wyden. And it's just this bizarre thing where no one in a position of power is saying anything about there is a problem with this. And it's really only a fraction of people. I seem to be the only one covering it, started to. And yeah, this has been exploding for me on X, but it's still maybe 80,000 people have seen this, maybe scrolled by it. So it's still a tiny percentage of people doing it. And no one, it's no one in the tax. I'm just amazed. And my friends in resolution, I'm like, have you noticed that? And like, what are you talking about, Anthony? What are you talking about? And so we have a fundamental problem. And I think the big thing is that how can the IRS issue a notice of determination that is fairly only accessible in tax court when there is no tax court jurisdiction because there is no party respondent possible there. And now I did file that motion to vacate last Monday. I'm sure Judge Nega had some fun with that. I'm not sure where that's going to go, but that's kind of where I am. This is the first challenge I have on this, and I kind of want to see where it's going. It is really the most craziest story imaginable, but Clinton, it gets more. And I'm sorry I'm so long-winded here, but my friend, I am excited because you're excited, concerned, every emotion, I guess, because not only are we missing an IRS commissioner, but if you actually look back, there's two other people that are really, really essential to this entire IRS enforcement. IRS Office of Chief Appeals. Okay, he's in charge of all our IRS appeals. Well, that's a little questionable because it wasn't acting Commissioner Scott Bessent who appointed IRS appeals, Chief of Appeals. No. It was the CEO. He appointed them on Borden. He appointed Borden on January 26th. Now, what's odd is Bessent could have appointed him as acting commissioner, would have been fine. But instead, we get the non-person appointing IRS appeals. So it seems like we have a faulty IRS Office of Appeals right now. And then to the top of it is, I think now in 46 days, the acting IRS counsel, Kenneth Keyes, I think I'm pronouncing his name correctly, his term will expire. And the only person who can appoint IRS counsel is the IRS commissioner, who's not there, nor is there any threat of one being presented. No one's asking for it. It's just, there's other things in the news. And that's where this entire structure, this entire underbelly of these delegation orders totally turned upside down. And it seems most of the tax industry is just like, let's ignore it. It's fine. The IRS says it's fine. But I think there are really structural problems that the court won't ignore everything of. There's too much going on.
Well, what about the Federal Vacancies Reform Act? That was designed to handle gaps in offices, particularly when one administration is going out of office and a new one's coming in. There can be gaps. And so this Reform Act was intended to put a process in place. Does that come to bear? Does that even apply even to tax court?
Well, it applies to it absolutely does. The Federal's Vacancies Reform Act 100% applies, and that is actually the law that I'm relying on for my point that you're a maximum of 220 days as any acting role. That's really what it is. And after 220 days, that's it. It's done. You got to appoint someone real. So while there have been gaps, and this is what I expect the government to say, is like, oh, we had gaps in delegation before, not a big deal. You're talking about days when, day gaps when you're just waiting for the new guy to come in. Totally different story than we have no one appointed, and we're not even going to appoint someone. We have a new role that we're having an invented role that doesn't have any statutory authority behind it. That's the big difference.
Now, I read that in the IRS, there are 28 positions that are presidential appointments.
Is that right?
Like, yeah, I was shocked when I saw this. It was I don't know where I found it, but of course, one of those is the commissioner. We got other appointments that you can make, whoever the head of legal counsel. I don't know what the other positions would be.
Well, I know one of them is technology officer is one of them.
Technology officer. Okay, so there's a lot of positions. I mean, without having a commissioner, I mean, or should we say just Bessent giving part-time to it, have they even filled these other positions? How big is the leadership gap?
Next.
How big is the leadership gap? Who's running the IRS? Bessent took all sorts of pride, after tax day about, oh yeah, we did it successfully. What a great year. We did it all with less staff and stuff. Like, what are we talking about? You received electronically returns. I mean, I'm not saying it's trivial, but it's something we've been doing for a long time, so it's not the hard work of paying things out and measuring and checking and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, so, no. Yeah.
Now, when you filed,
but I think,
go ahead.
I think, and this is what I love about the discussion is that there's so much going on that no one person. You just brought up a really good point. I didn't look at what are the other ones, and that I think we're seeing this gulf in leadership, and everyone's acting like it's fine, and it's just fine. It was like I think it's significant.
Now, you said you filed a motion last Monday to vacate. Did you file that in U.S. tax court?
Yep, I filed that in U.S. tax court.
Now, when you file that a motion to vacate, do you have to state who? I guess it's not the same thing as a petition, where you have to petition against the commissioner in order to vacate. It's really just a request, but that's a request back to the judge. But do you actually have a case in court at this time?
Right. Yeah. So this is what happened. I had on the case that I had, the summary judgment did not go my way. So I lost the summary judgment. So that's what happened. I might have. I didn't want to necessarily say I lost. Maybe that's what it was. But no, I did lose. I think the court's totally wrong. And so here's really what I was thinking of. I'm like, wait a second. So we have this order from tax court saying, hey, Commissioner of Revenue, everything you're doing is 100% right. Go collect against this guy as much as you want on this debt. It's fine. Go ahead. You won. And I'm thinking to myself, well, you're giving an order to someone who isn't there. You're giving a legal order to someone who is not there. That is a big problem. We have to vacate this. And I have not heard back from IRS counsel, by the way, who actually doesn't have a client to represent. I'm sure something will come up, but after June 16th, I'm not even sure what's going to happen after that. There's no counsel. So it's really something. And this is what I had a show this morning, and somebody who's been helping me out a lot is one of my followers on, and I follow him now too. He's a brilliant guy, David Blindell, and he said, you know what? It's like these cracks. He said something like this. He goes, the cracks in this compliance thing are helping us see what's really happening. And for the first time, we're really I never questioned these delegation orders before. I never questioned a lot of things, but these cracks in leadership now make you look at this thing a little bit different to say, how did this come into being and what's really going on?
So what about open cases with the court right now? Would this issue about absence of a commissioner apply still?
So I do have other open cases. I have not brought it up because it's a balancing. Is it better for my client just to, hey, look, I know I'm going to have a good settlement coming up. So do I want to upset the apple cart on that, or just go with the good settlement? So I'm more or less using it in the back of my pocket if I need it. And I am still, look, I'm still doing all my offers and compromise and regular resolution stuff. It's just more like, hey, look, if I get something that's not going my way, I'm going to use it. I'm going to use it. Because it's, it puts them in a box. What are you going to do here? Their authority, they don't have the authority. It's just like a dude off the street saying, hey, you owe me money. You owe the IRS money. That's all it is. Like, you're just a guy. You're just a guy off the street who was hired, and now you're saying, wait, no, that's not the way it works. You need to have your delegation order, and all these delegation orders require these people to be there who aren't there.
So much fun. All right.
Yeah.
I'm going to be interested. We'll have to talk again about this because obviously it's developing. Tell me let's talk about another really hot topic for people, particularly in my space, the cryptocurrency space. This year was the first year that 1099 DAs were issued. And it's been, I'm going to be charitable to the IRS and say they understand the first year there might be bugs, things they have to work out. I would say, in my opinion, the 1099 DA for this year has been a disaster in a number of different ways. I have many clients who have 1099 DAs that are longer than their tax return, more pages. And this, we've heard story after story of accountants look at this and they just tell the taxpayer, go away. I'm not going to do your tax return again this year. Because a lot of tax prep guys are focused on getting return done in, measuring it in terms of minutes. And when they look at a 1099 DA, they could spend an hour and not figure out what it says. And one of the problems is, in my opinion, with the 1099 DA, is that all the other 1099s have a taxpayer focus to it. It's simple. You take box one, put it over there. That's how much you got. Here's how much taxes were held. It's beautiful. It's easy. It's clean.
Exactly.
1099 DA, it's, first of all, it's, 20, 30 pages long for some people. And it's got the word total there. I'm thinking of Coinbase's, which was particularly poor. The word total appears everywhere, and they divided. They did a bunch of things. I can get into it, but our own staff look at it and say, what number are we supposed to put on the return from this 1099 DA? What do you see?
Well, I would say this, and this is, if you stop and think about it, because it's like every other 1099 gives you a number for a tax return. Okay, the 1099 actually doesn't. It necessarily doesn't, and I think it's really nasty what they did. They called a non-tax document a 1099. It's actually not a tax document. Because it doesn't help you. It actually doesn't help you calculate how much you owe. It's sort of, and it creates this impression that you could look at a 1099 and say, okay, this is what I put on my return. No, you can't. No, you can't do that. And I think really what the IRS did was they confused it on purpose. It's really that, if you think about it, that a better name for the 1099, let me see here. I had some notes earlier. I was looking because I was in preparation for this. Let me just get to my notes about this. The 1099 series has a specific meaning, right? In the American psyche, right? Oh, I'm a 1099. So when you have a 1099, well, what are you thinking, right? Everyone's thinking, oh, I can put this on my return and put it there. The 1099 DA doesn't do that whatsoever, because what it does is while a 1099 NEC will give you the number you owe, a 1099 tells you, oh, you received proceeds, right? Now, hey, you received $50,000 of proceeds. Okay, great. Well, what is that? Is it a $200,000 loss? Is it a $40,000 gain, or is it nothing? Well, who knows? Because it depends on everything else. And where I'm really thinking of this is that, and again, it's confused the tax industry. It's not a 1099. Yes, it says that, but it's not a 1099. It's basically a snapshot of irrelevant information. It's like, yeah, it's truthful information, but it's such a tiny snapshot to be totally irrelevant and to totally give the wrong picture. And that you can't look at, hey, check this. And so it's just like a harassment thing. There's no real number in there. And so these, that we know the IRS, when you don't report something on a 1099, hey, what you reported here on your return and your 1099 don't match up. Now we're going to send out a CP 2000. And I know they're gearing up for it. But what are they going to be sending out in the CP 2000? Hey, look, your 1099 DA said here's a part of a transaction. Please review. And what do? They say, please review, blah, 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 blah. Right? And so hopefully you'll go to someone who doesn't know what they're doing, or in a panic, you'll do like, oh, well, this DA says I got proceeds of $50,000. Okay, it must all be taxable. I better pay it. And so that's what I'm afraid of, is that people are paying way more than they should. Because really, if you think about it, if you get a 1099 DA and you do nothing, what can the IRS do? What can they do? They have to start an audit against you. You can't automatically assess, not to say that's going to stop them, but you can't come up with a figure of what someone owed from a 1099 DA. There's not enough information.
Well, they could. We're expecting that. My expectation on that is, I think it's a mess. I think they're going to realize it's a mess. And so I think they're going to look and see, oh, we know that you got a 1099 DA from Coinbase. Did you account for that on your tax return? You know how it's in the metadata, right? And it's okay, yeah, he accounted for it. Don't know how the numbers matched up, but he accounted for it. I think they're going to leave those people alone to the greater sense. The people that didn't account for a 1099, you got one, but you didn't account for it. I think that's an instant letter. And my staff and I were talking just this morning about this. Like that letter, because it's just proceeds, it's not the cost basis. So you could have, something in the millions in terms of proceeds. Of course, your costs on that could be, 900,000. You really wouldn't have made that much money, but they're going to hit you. Say, oh, you have $1 million of income here.
Yeah.
We're going to hit you. Your tax bracket. We'll hit you 32% NIT and everything. Next thing you know, you got a tax bill of 300,000, and your wife is about to kill you. So.
Yeah, actually, I think, you're kind of right. I think you guys are right on that. I think that is, again, I'm saying you can't tell it by that, but I think you kind of have like, that's basically what they're going to do. And the IRS, again, hey, look, the IRS is looking at it as a 1099, right? They're looking at it as a 1099. So I think you do have it right. I think that is how they're going to do it. Hey, is Coinbase, hey, look, we got a 1099 from Coinbase. Okay, is Coinbase on the return? Okay, great, move on. We got a 1099 from Coinbase. It's not on return. Okay, now it's hard to do an automatic under-reporting assessment legally, but that's not necessarily going to stop the IRS, right? I mean, that's generally what we're at. I mean, will they do it anyway? And I think there's a good chance. Yeah.
One of the problems that a lot of people have felt, and I've looked at in the law, in section 6045A, it describes what the brokers have to do in terms of, submitting a 1099 DA. And one of the open questions is, if an asset is transferred in from a wallet, you don't have the cost basis and holding period associated with it. How does that get reported if a similar asset is sold that year? And the IRS says, well, basically, when you're trying to determine which asset was sold, you are to treat those transferred in assets as though they were purchased on the date they were transferred in. That's when the holding period began. So this creates a problem. Let's say I bought an asset. I bought an asset 2 years ago. I transferred it to a private wallet. A month before I sell it, I move it back from that wallet onto the exchange, and now it looks like it's a month old. So on the 1099 DA, it shows up under short-term gains. Right? Of course, there's no gain, but the proceeds are totaled under short term. Now I come over to what the taxpayer has to do in regs 1.1012-1. It talks about how you have to report, and it specifically states in there you do not have to use the transfer dates that came over from the from the 1099 DA. It actually says this, and because they realize that. No, you can't use that as short term. You have to account for it. You have to report it as long term and what the true cost basis was. So when they wrote this, they knew that they were creating a 1099 that would have misleading information.
And that's what we have. Thank you.
And that's what we
That's
have.
exactly right. And it's a 1099. It's a misleading form name with misleading information. Yeah.
Is there a basis that one could, if you had a problem with this, you wanted to take it to court,
Yeah.
can we challenge this as that it's not a valid document, that IRS, when they came up with these regulations, which were, it's a couple hundred pages of regulations, it was quite staggering and difficult to read, that somehow they overstepped? I mean, can we do a Loper Bright challenge on it?
I probably I'm putting it into my Loper Bright Challenger right now.
I mean, of course, the Inflation Reduction Act said you got to do something, but the IRS came out with a cloud of regs.
Yeah, well, I mean, I would say, well, first of all, I would say there's a huge, huge challenge. We actually have a West Virginia versus EPA challenge, because if you recall, the entire IRS crypto law comes from IRS Notice 2024-21. And in that document was a press release in which the IRS announces what the crypto tax policy is of the United States of America. So I think that there is, there is a challenge right now. The Blockchain Association has filed a challenge right now. Okay, so part of it they did go on the DeFi broker reporting requirements. I think there's going to be a lot more challenges. My guess is that basically everything is challengeable that the government does. It's what will win. That's kind of where we're at. There isn't really anything the government does that's legal. It's just what it can get away with, really. Honestly, it's just really whatever they get away with. So that's really always my advice. Like, yeah, I look, I can tell you what the law is, and I can tell you what the result of the law would be. That just might not line up with any reality whatsoever. That's so, we're more fortune tellers now, and priestess, and trying to figure out what's going to happen and reading the tea leaves. Like, well, that's really the job of the attorney now, to say, oh yeah, the IRS is totally without authority, but this is what they're going to do. Yeah. So let me just see here. Yeah, it didn't give me an answer I want. So still, there's no such thing as an AI that can answer you. Because, yeah.
Since we're on the topic of AI, this talk on X about, lawyers are going to be obsolete, the AIs are going to get better and better. And, right now they say the AI has replaced the entry-level lawyer who was pretty much the clerk reading the contracts, but that, it's moving up, and pretty soon, partners will be threatened. What's your take on all that hype?
So I think it's already happening. I think what the future is already here. That AI is a tool like everything else. And you have people who know how to use tools and people who don't. The people who know how to use AI are smart. And they're smart. And they use AI and they're amazing with it. The people who are lazy and use AI, which is basically mostly everybody, they're going to end up with a problem. Because I think right now it's so, look, I see it. The reason why I did is, again, tax GPT. It gives the easy answer. Easy answer that's always in favor of the government. And the easy answer now is like, okay, client, this is what's going on right now in the tax industry. Client sends their AI question, right, to their tax advisor. The tax advisor copies and pastes that, puts that in tax GPT. Tax GPT is, do you want me to output this as a client email? Of course, you hit yes, copy and paste, and the email goes out, you go. Hey, and now everyone's celebrating. Oh my God, isn't this amazing? Tax has never been in this much fun. I sound so smart. Clients are happy. Everything's great. What's the problem? Well, here's the problem. That people adopt, and they got your answer. Now they're taking your answer, putting it in AI. And you have to understand that what you're doing is a shortcut, and you're not really answering the question, and you're not really giving people the time. That means what you're doing is also replaceable by AI. So what I'm thinking is that what we'll see is that AI will drive the poor performers out of the marketplace, and that we will have basically those who remain will be the super lawyers. It's going to be, will probably be 20%, but will be incredible. Those who will, because there's no way to get rid of it. It's the one who knows how to use the tools. And if you don't know how AI processes issues and its limitations, it has limitations, real limitations. If you don't understand how it works and you're not working with it now, you're probably going to have a problem, is what I'm going to say. You have to be on top of it and use it right, and use it and challenge it and push back. Just push back. Like, is that right? No. Oh, good catch. I mean, this is what I love about it, right? You catch it in a total lie. It just says, oh, good catch. I wish I could do that. Hey, Anthony, you made that up. What are you talking about? Oh, good catch. Good catch. So I think that, you know, AI is a wonderful tool, and I think what it's also going to do, it's really the government's worst enemy, because, and you could see this because, you know, everything that's the future is already happening. Tax court is saying, oh, we got to get rid of AI because, man, taxpayers are bringing up way too many good arguments, challenging our authority, right? Listening to people like you and me, right? Like that's the thing. Like, people are listening to us, and they're going to say, yeah, everyone listening to this has access to AI. They could go in, right? Oh yeah, is Anthony Clinton telling the truth? They're going to go in there, and that's what's really happening now. And it's what the government has always been able to overwhelm us with regulations and words, right? And it's really a battle of spells. And I had a nephew tell me this years ago, hey, Anthony, think about the word spell. He's like, what's that? What's that? Well, you spell words. I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, and he goes, are words spells? And I go, oh my God, words are spells. And that's what we have. We have competing spells. And now the government has these spells that are so big, we can't understand them. They come from authority. We can't challenge them. But AI is a copy and paste, and buddy, it's over because we're going to be coming back at you. So that's the counter spell. We have the AI can give us our counter spells. Now it goes the wrong way, of course, but when it goes right, oh boy, the government has a huge problem. I think they're tyranny. I think they're going to have to do something they haven't thought about, because everyone is becoming more smarter than they are. Well, not everyone. Those who know how to use it correctly understand the government much more than the government does. That's where we're at. So I actually think of it as a very good thing. Yes, they're using AI to slave us with weird things, but at the same point, it's going to be probably, my guess, it's going to be 3-4% of the population using AI smart. That ends it. That's really all it takes. So I'm excited, I guess.
Well, hey, Anthony, I am super excited to talk to you and get your thoughts. Always provocative, always stimulating. Thank you. Why don't you tell everybody how they can contact you if they'd like your help on their tax cases?
All right, you can go to IRSMedic.com and just get started. We do a lot of streamlined disclosures, offshore stuff. We do a lot of that stuff. A lot of the tough ones, and a lot of the tough cases where somebody did something wrong and you're not sure how to fix it. That's kind of where we, balance, because I think, the big mistake, and this is what we were talking about this morning, is people say, oh, I'm not in tax compliance. They go to Tax GPT. What do I need to do? And then they follow that advice, and that could be one of the biggest disasters. And so it's really on a lot of the cleanup, Clinton. That's really where we have a lot of fun to get these problems through without. And then, the IRS kind of knows that we do push back. I don't mind whatsoever. And you do get a different treatment when they know you're an actual threat. So, just go to IRSMedic.com, click get started. And also my YouTube channel, check that out. And also on Twitter at IRSMedic _ IRS_medic. Very lively discussion there. That's a lot of good stuff. And you and I are just talking all the time, and I think that's really where people should go. The discussions on Twitter are really, really something.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Thank you, Anthony. And thank you, everyone. Have a great day.